Well, it's a little taller than the old model. I wonder if it fits the same. Yep, oh, it's the same size basket. It's just a little taller than the last one. Let's see what was different here. The feet stick out a little bit further, so it lifts it up off the ground more. And it looks like it's got venting on the bottom as well. This one doesn't have any venting on the bottom. They both have the same vent in the back. Well, let's give it a try and look into some of the differences of the features on these two units and see how they do. So it says this basket coating, the product is completely PFOA and PFAS free. The basket surface features a ceramic non-stick coating which provides food safe properties, outstanding hardness, and high heat resistance. To maintain the coating's durability during regular use, the basket may inevitably experience scratches and scuffs from scraping, which are considered normal wear and do not affect its functionality. As shown in the figure below, the gray areas indicate where the coating, blah, blah, blah. All right, so that's about the coating. Self-cleaning programs. It's got the self-cleaning features, and it goes into the fact that it has a self-clean and a deep clean feature. It's got a recipe table and some notes. Do not place on or near hot gas or electric burner or in a heated oven. They had to put that for somebody. Somebody needed that, that knowledge not to put the air fryer in a heated oven. Okay. So I'm going to go through this owner's manual and make sure I got everything set up and ready to go, and we'll take a look at the Typhur Dome 2. So it's using the same app I already had. That's convenient. Typhur Dome 2 has joined my network. And in the app, it's got all kind of features like air fry, toast, and grill, which is what it says right here as well. Air fry, toast, grill, reheat. Instead of saying pizza, it says bake. It's got one for bacon here, steak and wings, but on the app, it's got bake, griddle, roast, dehydrate, and broil. Let's see, presets. Now it's got the presets. So these are presets on this side for pizza, bacon, steak, wings, and then it's got one for fries and cooking from frozen in the app. So it has a few extra features in the app that are not directly available on the unit, but for a carnivore, having the steak option right there on the front, I can dig that. Let's see, let's go to settings because it's got an indicator. Check for device upgrades. So we're gonna make sure, yep, needs a firmware update. So we're gonna go ahead and update the firmware on it, which is always a good idea because they add features as they go. Device upgrade successfully completed, and now we're ready to cook. Now, one of the things that I think you're supposed to do, at least I have with other air fryers, is you need to run it through a cook cycle without any food in it. So I'm going to double check that. Ensure that the voltage applied to the appliance matches your local or home voltage. So it is a 120 volt plug-in here in the United States. Press the start button to start or pause cooking. Let's just give it a try. We'll set it for a steak, which presets to 450 degrees at 10 minutes. And we'll start that. We'll let it run through a cycle one time. Interesting, it says, oh, preheat. So it's got an 8-minute preheat cycle that it starts with. You can choose between Celsius and Fahrenheit very easily. Compatible with Typhur's wireless meat thermometer. I think that is a must myself to have a meat thermometer. To me, an air fryer without a wireless temperature probe or a wired temperature probe like some of the other models I use have is just guessing as to how you're going to get your temperature out, because every steak's a different size, it's a different thickness, it's a different cut of meat, and it makes a difference. Very, very simple stuff. This owner's manual does not read difficultly. As a matter of fact, it baby steps you through the process. And it talks about the cooking temperatures, cooking temps and times. Like steak is going to be 450 degrees Fahrenheit or 230 degrees Celsius. The default timer is 10 minutes. Manual temperature setting range from 210 degrees to 450 degrees, so you can adjust the temperature to what you want. Self-cleaning mode can be used to remove oil and stains. On the upper part of the inner chamber, it is advised to run self-cleaning mode on a monthly basis. But one of the things I do like about this thing is how quiet it is. It has a whisper quiet motor. Compared to the other air fryers, it is a lot less noisy. So for those of you who don't like the extra noise in the kitchen, Another big feature that's nice about the Typhur Dome. So simple, a baby could do it, or drop it on the floor. All right, it just told me on my phone preheating is complete. Add food to the basket and continue. Sure is hot in there, considering how quiet it is. Oh, and it's got an element on the bottom and on the top. That's why it's taller. Oh, they're heating from both directions now. Now that's unique. I have not seen that on an air fryer yet. So let's click on Get Extra Warranty Protection and see what happens. Oh, it's a free extended warranty. So that's good. Please submit the information below to register your product and receive our extended 1.5 year. By scanning in the warranty, you get an extra half a year overall. Extended product protection, the 1 year standard warranty is already included, but registering extends the warranty to 1.5 years. InstaProbe extends to 10 years. So InstaProbe is another product that Typhur makes that works great in conjunction with the Typhur Dome. And wow, that's pretty good. You get your probe to a 10-year warranty. That's a pretty good deal. Pretty simple, pretty easy, pretty cool. And then we'll give this thing a try with a real steak in it instead of just letting it do the cook-off. That this model, it didn't say anything about running a cook-off before you do your first cook. I've done enough air fryers to where that's just the thing I do. They all say that, but this one didn't. So that's interesting. One of the things I love about this is how solidly built it is. It's a heavy machine. It doesn't feel as plasticky and lightweight as some of the other air fryers I've used. Even the Dreo Chef Maker isn't as solid as this unit is. And it's not nearly as quiet. This is unbelievably quiet. I almost think I'm doing something wrong, it's so quiet. But we'll try it a couple of times and see how it comes out. So let's see how it does with a steak. I got a 2-pound ribeye here. It's a bone-in ribeye. I'm all out of my Malden salt that I got from Dr. Kilt, so I'm gonna use my old go-to, which is Redmond smoked salt. Now, most people like to do their salt a lot earlier, at least an hour before they're cooking. Some people even 24 hours. I personally wind up usually doing it before I'm cooking, and I have no complaints that way. I understand you can get more flavor with it soaking in, and it just comes out better and maybe less gritty if you let it soak for a longer period of time. But that's one of the reasons I grind the salt, so that it won't be as gritty. Even though it's already kosher cut, it's not coarse salt, but it is cut to kosher size. And by grinding it, I can get a little smaller grain on there. I am going to use the Meter Plus 2. Like I say, Typhur does have their own probe like this. I'm just used to using the Meter. I've always liked it. And one of the things you always want to do when using a probe on a steak is make sure you're avoiding these fat circles here. So there's a good spot right there on both sides of the meat, and you want to get the probe in the center of the steak, and you want to stick it toward the bone area. There's a little line that lets you know when you've got it in far enough. I love the new thermometer because it goes to a much higher temperature than the old one, over 1,000 degrees. Listen to that, you know it's hot. And we're gonna try this again with a steak. I also love that it's got a nice low profile. Makes it easy if you want to fit it under a cabinet and have it not backed up against the wall or the underside of the cabinet. You know, some of my other air fryers, like the Dreo Chef Maker you can see over here, it comes up a lot closer to the cabinet, whereas this one would be right about here. So it gives you a bit more room where you're not gonna have to worry about getting char marks or any burn marks on your walls. So I'm gonna keep an eye on the Meter probe. That way I'll know when it's ready. Let me go ahead and open my Meter app. This app works very similar to the Typhur dual temperature probe that they have. So if you wanna have all matching products, you can do that. But we're focusing on the air fryer here today, and I just wanna make sure that you're cooking it the best way you can. The target temperature is 130 and internal is 58 degrees. So we'll go ahead and see how long it takes based on the 20-minute timer I set. I'm excited to see how this comes out because this dual element could be a game changer. One of the problems a lot of people complain about with their air fryers is that it doesn't get as hot on the bottom as it does on the top because the fan is only blowing downward. And the fan is still only blowing downward, but having an element underneath is gonna get that metal that's underneath there even hotter, so it should have an effect. We're gonna see in just a moment. And even though this is a ceramic coated device, I always recommend using tongs that are either wood or silicone. Silicone's nice because you can throw them in the dishwasher, Wood is nice. I like it because it's a more natural material. Silicone I know is somehow natural, but it feels unnatural, so I'm not a big fan of it. So I like the wood coated tongs myself, and that way you don't take a risk of damaging any of the coating that's on any of the air fryers that you use. All right, now the meter plus is telling me I have 5 minutes remaining, so I'm letting it drop, but there's 4 minutes left on the timer here, so 20 minutes is going to be not long enough. I'm going to add a couple of minutes to the cook time here so that the cook time on this will end after that, and I'll stop it on my own. All right, the meter's telling me there's 1 minute remaining for a total of 26 minutes to cook. Let's just see how this baby came out. Remove from heat. So I'm going to go ahead and click remove from heat. And we'll double check with another temperature probe just to see what it looks like here. 131 degrees, and we'll let it rest. Now the initial look that I have is that it's not quite as crispy on the surface as I'm used to when I get them out of the Dreo Chef Maker after sous vide mode for an hour or so, but for half the time, this is kind of what I expect. There are other ways to add that sear that you want. You could throw it on a cast iron skillet for a couple of minutes, flip it over a few times, and you'll get a real crispy sear. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this out. And after a spray out with the sink wash sprayer, I don't see any residual food left on there, which is very convenient. I do recommend hand washing these things. They are dishwasher safe, but if you really want it to last a long time, hand wash will make it last a lot longer. Don't use anything abrasive. I'm just using a standard paper towel here. You can see how the tray stays in there very firmly. I like that. And then you can take the tray out, wipe out the inside. All set for the next cook. Pretty quick and easy. Like I say, if you stick with hand washing, it'll be a lot easier to clean. Running it through the dishwasher is going to cause it to lose some of its non-stick feature that the ceramic has over time. Same thing happens with any of the air fryers I've used. I recommend hand washing because it'll keep it easier and it'll be fast. And the other good thing is you won't ever have to come back to the air fryer and say, doggone it, I forgot to clean it when I was done eating. While you're letting your steak rest, you can have it clean and ready to go for the next time. And there it is, it's done resting. Go ahead and cut into this baby and see what we got. Looks like a nice medium rare to me. You want to take a closer look. Now let's take a taste of it. Fantastic. So good. So good. Just the way it is, it's so good. If I had my druthers, next time I would start with I would want it to finish with a lower temperature around 120, and then I would bump it up to 450 on standard air fryer, let it cook for a couple minutes, and that way it would give it a nice brown surface and give it a crispiness. But the good thing about eating it this way is you're not denaturing the meat so much. You're getting more nutrients with less overcooking. And that's what we want to do too, is we want to make sure we're getting the full amount of nutrients that are available. So what can I say? It's super quiet, it's non-toxic, it's got a big cooking area, it makes steak amazing. I don't think you can go wrong with the Typhur Dome Series 2. It's a nice unit. It's a little more expensive than some of the other air fryers out there on the market, but it is built like it too. So if you're looking for something that's a heavy duty piece of equipment and it does self-cleaning, where it'll clean that area around the element that you have such a hard time with on other air fryers, it's a pretty darn good set of features. So I'm impressed. I'd like to know what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comments and I'll see you guys next time.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?